for this new book, I've written 2 books on innovation and creativity. I really wanted to do something bold and different. I didn't want to rehash what everybody always says about innovation. And so I started looking in non-traditional places for inspiration. And it led me to hackers. So hacker is a scary word, it makes our, we tighten up when we hear it because it's frankly, it's our biggest threat to national security. It's in the papers every day. It's a really scary thing. But if you put their motives aside, the act of hacking is really, to me, just a methodology for complex problem solving. Like, it's not so easy to hack into a bank. And so what I said is, what if I studied the mindsets, the tactics, and the approaches of hackers, borrowed them, flipped them upside down, and applied them to legitimate business purposes? So my goal in writing the book, which is entitled Hacking Innovation, the New Growth Model from the Sinister World of Hackers. The goal was not to teach people to be criminals. The goal, rather, was to say, what can we learn from this unlikely group of misfits? And so I sort of immersed myself into the dark underbelly, cloak and dagger world of hackers. I talked to actual criminals. I talked to growth hackers in Silicon Valley. I talked to law enforcement. I talked to software companies that protect against cybercrime. And what I found was amazing. What I found is that there's some very specific practical tools that we can borrow and apply to business that really serve as a new path forward, and one that I believe will win against the traditional routes that most of us learned in business school. Well, there's a different intent, obviously. One is, is set out to commit crime and misfortune, and the other one obviously is legitimate. But their mindset and approaches are not. They're identical. And so the same way that a Russian team of hackers infiltrates a bank to steal hundreds of millions of dollars, that same approach can be applied to building a new drug therapy to save lives, or to building a community a service organization that can leave an impact on those that they serve. So that's the neat thing about it. And I really think of hackers, even though they didn't call themselves this, I think of Thomas Edison or Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King. Like, Martin Luther King was hacking for social justice, and he used very similar approaches and mindsets that I cover in the book. And what I've learned too is that the traditionalist model of business, of innovation, is really failing us. It maybe worked great 20 years ago, but today we live in a world of dizzying speed, exponential complexity, ruthless competition. And so the old models are becoming less and less effective, and this new format, this new approach is right before our eyes, and I think it can drive meaningful results in our businesses and our communities.